It's time for more For Honor duels. We are jumping straight into the action, this time from the perspective of the Centurion. He is currently one of the most notorious characters in the game, and he has been that way since he was released in Season 2, so hopefully we can do that name justice. Hopefully we can show our first opponent, the Kensei, that we are not to be trifled with, that we have the ability and we also have an incredibly powerful character backing us up. So let's start this off. Round number 1, it begins now. Whenever you're playing as one of the stronger characters in a game, a lot of salt gets thrown around to the person that's on the losing end, so hopefully things stay nice and civil between the two of us. Even though I'm playing the Centurion, I like to think I'm a nice guy. I always start out with a good luck, have fun, and the Kensei is starting off with a top light, a second top light gonna connect. He's gonna feint into his side heavy. I tried to splat him against the wall, and that would have been a tremendous punish, but unfortunately our throw was a little bit off. The Kensei doing a swift strike, dodging out of the way of our attacks, landing another successful parry, a knee to the face, and following up with a kick. The Kensei is out of stamina, so we have an opportunity to try and put some pressure on him, but nothing too big is going to come of it. Landing another successful parry, the Kensei being just a little bit too obvious with his movements, and that's going to run him out of stamina again, but he's doing a fantastic job of defending, but we got him caught in the last second, slammed him against that wall, doing the full charged heavy, and we are boxing the hell out of this man. The Centurion is all about the comeback factor. If you get a good groove going on, you can really do a massive amount of damage, but unfortunately, it's almost as if I've got a secret wire to this Kensei player, and I told him, just feint that side heavy and you'll get some damage out, and that is exactly what happened. So that was a pretty intense first round. We made a lot of mistakes in there, which is most likely why we didn't win, but that's something that comes with more experience. The more you play a character, the more you realize what you could have done differently, but we'll talk about that more a little bit later. For now, we're going to dive into round number 2, see if we can make something happen. The Centurion, he has a very strong mix-up game, so if we can sort of trick the Kensei a little bit, that'll be a tremendous advantage for us. Unfortunately though, we're starting off very basic by going for a heavy attack, not bothering to feint, and the Kensei gonna use a swift strike to go into his mix-ups, and he tried to feint his side heavy into a guard break, but we were prepared for that, and we soft feinted a guard break of our own, and the Kensei instinctively tried to tech out of it, but he was too far away. Landing a guard break from neutral, not gonna slam him into the wall, but we overcommitted on that unblockable heavy. If you do land a wall bang with the Centurion, that's pretty much game over, but unfortunately a parry followed by a guard break is going to be game over for us, so we are at a deficit once again. We've got that all too common uphill battle to worry about. The score is 0-2. We're about to go into round number 3. Now, although I'm not making the Centurion look like an incredibly powerful character, he is, in fact, an incredibly powerful character, but he does have his weaknesses. He has a very short range, so if you are playing a character like the Kensei or the Nobushi, and even the Highlander to a certain extent, you can outrange him so that some of his best moves won't work. But the Kensei, starting off with a pretty obvious move, just going for raw attacks, swing it for the fences, and when you do that, if the Centurion lands a parry, he punishes the hell out of your stamina. Unfortunately, we're not going to get too much damage out of it, but we are trying our best to keep the pressure on, but our opponent is doing a great job of staying composed and coming back, but again, being very obvious, using swift strike. It is a slow-moving dodge attack, and there we go again. 2 more heavy attacks going to come out, the second one getting parried, and an eagle talon going to do some big damage. While he's still out of stamina, we're going to send out another kick, charging up that heavy attack to maximum. The parry was a little bit mistimed. We actually had the finish there, but we pressed the wrong button, but our opponent has completely surrendered in order to type LOL, stop turtling. And here's what I'll say about that. When you're playing as the Kensei, your main prerogative is to feint as much as possible, and in that previous round, we hardly saw any feints, so it was very easy for us to parry and then punish our opponent, and that's what you're supposed to do in the current meta of For Honor. If you see someone being obvious, you parry, you stop their momentum, and then you beat that ass. So let's see if the same thing happens in round number 4, or if our opponent changes up his style. Already though, we're seeing a feint. We landed a successful guard break. Unfortunately, though, he's not going to get slammed into the wall, but he's throwing out those swift strikes very frivolously, and that may be his biggest weakness. So let's see if he continues. Another one going to come out, this time getting parried, and we drained him completely out of stamina with the knee to the face, followed by a kick. Unfortunately, we went for that unblockable charged heavy attack, but this time it was successfully parried, and it left us out of stamina. Unfortunately for our opponent, he was a little bit too aggressive, and he ran out of stamina himself. And even though we got the pin, our inputs were a little bit slow, so we didn't get that fully charged uppercut. That Eagle's Talon would have done a big burst of damage and put us in the lead as far as health is concerned. The Kensei going to roll away, trying to create some space, which is definitely a good decision on his part. A feint followed by a swift strike, unblockable attack, feinted to the side, but it is still going to get parried despite his best efforts to mix me up, because I am pretty experienced with the Kensei. I'm not falling for any of it. Again, though, getting too aggressive with that unblockable heavy attack, and it's going to get parried. I'm going to have to be a little bit less direct if I want my moves to connect. The Centurion is able to soft feint his charged heavy attack, so that's going to have to be something we do if we want to trick this guy. He's not going to fall for the same moves over and over again. And right there, we caught his dash with a guard break, but we didn't throw him in the proper direction. We would have had the finish there, but lucky for us, we threw out 2 heavy attacks, and that was enough to finish him off. Thank goodness for that. You always want to win the game when you start getting insulted a little bit, so the score is now 2-2. It's about to get serious. We've got a real grudge match going on. But as far as toxicity is concerned, I've been called much worse than a turtle in my time playing For Honor, especially when I play the top tier characters. It gets really ugly, and I'm not even going to repeat some of it. A sprinting attack going to come out from the Kensei, but it's going to get swiftly parried, and there we go. We knocked him out of stamina from 1 parry, feinting the heavy attack with the soft feint capability of the Centurion. Going to try and do it a second time, but our opponent is good enough that he is not going to fall for that same trick twice. Dodging to the side, he's positioning himself very close to the lava, throwing out a swift strike again. Unfortunately, we didn't land the parry, but it's very clear at this point that he wants to throw me in to get the victory, but I am not having it. I'm seeing through his deception, slowly walking up to him, being as cautious as possible. That grasping pounce going to catch us. Unfortunately, because he was looking for that cheeky throw into the lava for the victory, he's not going to get any punish from that delicious guard break from neutral. That is really unfortunate for him, but I could care less. I'm pretty happy that we didn't wind up getting toasted for the final round. That's a terrible way to go out, especially from maximum HP. We got to be very careful, though, as we move around, as we throw out our attacks. Anything that gets parried will be the death of us while we're standing this close to the lava. A guard break going to come out, but it is going to get teched out of. A swift strike coming out once again, gonna parry him and drain a significant amount of his stamina once again. And now that we are no longer near the lava, we can go on the offensive again, try to get that damage out, landing one more time the parry on the swift strike. It's getting a little bit repetitive at this point, but if this is what's gonna happen, this is what's gonna happen. He's trying to line us up one more time against that lava, but it's not gonna work. We got the quick grab, and there you go. Karma's a bitch. You try to throw somebody in the lava for a good solid minute, and then you get thrown in the lava yourself. But hey, it is what it is. I understand getting frustrated in a video game, especially when you're playing against such a powerful character like the Centurion. And to be perfectly honest, the Centurion is frustrating to play against. If you are making a lot of mistakes, you'll wind up having 0 stamina for the majority of a fight, and it's not always fun to be in that position. But to wrap things up, we're going to show off one more round from the perspective of the Centurion again, but this time we're fighting against the Lawbringer. And this particular round really shows the strengths of the Centurion and what makes him such a difficult opponent to fight against. We're off to a rough start, though, getting pancake flipped by the Lawbringer and then hit with a top attack that wasn't guaranteed. Unfortunately for him, we landed a successful parry, but we're both out of stamina. I got a little overzealous by following up that knee to the face with a kick to the chest. We've both recovered, so we're getting right back into the fighting. The Lawbringer landing a successful parry. He threw out that swift justice, but I parried that back. He follows up with a relentless assault. He panicked and dodged out of the way of the kick that never came, and therefore he was hit with a guard break, soft feinting the heavy attack, getting another guard break, throwing him to the ground for an Eagle's Talon, but the Lawbringer has the highest health in the game, so it looks like he's barely been scratched, throwing out that pancake flip once again, but I don't have any syrup, so I ain't trying to flip. So I'm going to dodge out of the way, land a successful guard break, and another Eagle's Talon, but the Lawbringer's still looking pretty healthy. In fact, the health values for both of us are pretty even. Just need one more attack, charging up the heavy attack, and then gonna leap forward. That is one of the interesting properties of the Centurion, is that charging his heavy attacks increases the range of them. So that's something very cool about this character. So we walked away with a victory. Overall, though, the Centurion is an incredibly fun character to play, and he's well designed, but he's a bit frustrating to play against, and I think that's why so many people have a problem with him. He's not overpowered per se, but there's something about him that gets on your nerves when you're fighting against him. His moves are most certainly punishable, but at the end of the day, having your stamina drained for the better part of 5 rounds is a bit annoying. So, with that said, the name of the game, it's For Honor. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If there is a specific hero you'd like me to play, feel free to let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.